Well, it's John Black, super chemist. I'm not funny. I made I made like 5 videos like years ago on this channel, and then I ended up going to the hospital or whatever and having my heart problems, my health problems. And I started back a couple months ago doing videos. But those first 5 videos, if you look all the way back to the first ones, I made about 4 or 5. I was trying to be funny. I'm not very funny though. I don't have that whatever. But I'm gonna make some jokes today, okay? So keep in mind, I'm not that funny. Anyways, and they're all sexist. Not all of them, but some of them. But if you're a woman and you want to tell the joke, you can always turn it around so it's about men. You know what I mean? Just flip it around. I want to talk about some things that I've learned about women over the years. You know what I mean? Like why do women wear makeup and perfume? You know what I mean? Guys are always like, why do they keep doing? No one likes that. You know what I mean? Like no one likes that. Well, the reason why is they wear the perfume, the makeup. It's because they stink and they're ugly. Okay, why else would you put perfume on it and makeup? You know what I mean? Like I said, they're sexist. Okay. Other stuff I learned in life about women. Just traveling through life. How many women does it take to screw in a light bulb? Well, it only takes one woman to tell a man to change that light bulb. So the answer is one. Okay. Anyways, so I'm going to get into some science about women today, because I don't just know just everyday stuff. I know some science stuff. You know what I mean? They discovered this food that totally suppresses a woman's sexual appetite. Her sex drive is just zero with this food. You know what I mean? Anyways, it's called wedding cake. Have you ever heard of this? Wedding cake? Don't ever let your woman, it'll take her, gone. Anyways, and not only I know about biology about women, I know a lot of stuff, man. That's why I'm doing these jokes. What do you call that useless piece of skin that's attached to the vagina? Do you know? Well, anyway, that useless, piece of skin that's attached to the vagina, it's called a woman. Alright, yeah, I'm a jerk. Okay, so I'm going to leave women alone for a while. I'll go into some news things that I heard on the news. You know what I mean? I'm not going to, beat a dead woman or beat a dead horse or whatever. So anyways, in the news, recently the world's heaviest woman died. And she was best known by her catchphrase, "Stop calling me that." Anyways, other news stories. Scientists finally succeeded at teaching a raccoon to drive a car. They believe this is the first step in eventually training women to drive. You think it's not funny? Ask a woman to parallel park. If any woman out there complains of this joke, I challenge you to parallel park in front of me. Send me a video of it. Other stuff in news. They're up to 13 female governors now. 13 female governors. So only 13 states will be burned to the ground, and the rest of the states will get their dinner on time. Come on, look at California. Are you kidding me? Last year, Saudi Arabia started to let women drive legally. They couldn't drive before this. It's crazy, man. And in the last year, auto accidents have gone up 10,000%. Some speculate it may due to the women drivers. Come on, parallel park. That's all I gotta say. You know, there's a survey that says half of Americans think in the future sex with a robot will be normal. Well, the other half of the population are women. Okay, so I'll get off the women already. You know, a California public school student was expelled recently for grabbing a teacher's breast. See, unfortunately for the student, in California, the student is required by law to wait for the teacher to make the first move. See, that wasn't about women, that was about California. A woman who lived in a convent for 10 years recently left the clergy to become an OnlyFans porn star. OnlyFans porn stars replied by saying, "We are not that perverted." You know, my daughter can't. This is a true story. My daughter called me to change her, flat tire. So of course I'm asking, she has a boyfriend. I'm like, why can't your boyfriend change your flat tire? You know what I mean? She's like, oh no, he's busy. He can't do it. He's at work. You can't, I can't just leave and come, whatever. So I asked, do you have a spare? She said, sorry about that. So I asked her, do you have a spare? She said, I called him too, but he's busy also. How does an atheist make his yes answer seem totally obvious? He replies, does the Pope molest little kids in the woods? Okay, we got some religion bashing there. How do you convince a... How much time do I have? Oh, that's only 7 minutes? Oh, I should have made more jokes. How do you convince a feminist to jump off a cliff? Just tell her the patriarchy forbids women from jumping off cliffs. And if you think that's a stupid thing to say or whatever, well, listen to my next joke, because it actually has to do with real life, okay? Real life. How do you get a feminist to cut their hair short, dye it green, cover their face and body with tattoos, attach 10 pounds of metal to their face, and dress like a dyslexic, colorblind nutjob? Simple. Just tell her the patriarchy likes pretty girls. That's actually true. Well, I made 2 more jokes to fill out this time, so I get 15 minutes in. These last 2 jokes are sexual, so if you're a kid or whatever, you're going to be offended, whatever, go away. So anyways, this joke takes place in the old times, the little house on the prairie type thing, way back in the 1600s, whatever, you know what I mean? Little house on the prairie times. So the little girl, she's not a little girl, she's whatever, 18 or whatever, and she's getting married, and she just had her wedding, and, she's having a little talk with the mom, you know what I mean? And the mother's telling her how she has to do her duty, talking about sex, and, that's her duty as a wife, and especially on her wedding night, blah, 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 blah. So now she's all prepared, because this is the little, way back in the day, people didn't know what sex was, before they got married as much. So anyway, she goes up to the, this is little prairie days, so she goes up into where the husband's at, you know what I mean? And he's there, and he sits down, and he takes off his shirt. She sees all this hair on his chest and on his back, and she's never really seen a man without his shirt on, off. So she's like, what the heck? And she runs downstairs, Mommy, 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 Mommy. He's got hair all over his body. I mean, even on his back, it's all over the place. It's just, it's like an animal or something. And the mother says, that's how men are. They're hairy. They're not, they're hairy. They're more hairy than women. But it's your duty. You got to go up there and you got to do your duty. So as a devoted wife, she just got married. She wants to go up and do her duty, so she goes up, and he's there, and he's taking off his pants, and she sees that his legs all hairy. I mean, just like an ape, man. She's like, oh my God. She runs back downstairs. Mommy, mommy, mommy. I mean, it's not just his chest and his back and his arms, his legs everywhere. His entire body is just covered in fur and hair. And the mother again says, hey, look, it's your duty, you know what I mean? You got to go up there. You got to do your duty. Doesn't matter how, that's how men are. They have, they're hairy. So she goes upstairs, back to where the husband's at. He's got his clothes off except for his socks. So he takes his socks off, and she sees that, like, I guess in the war, half of his foot, one of his feet, one of the half of the foot is like blown off, like in the war or whatever, you know what I mean? And she's like freaking out again, man. She runs downstairs to the mother. Mommy, 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 please, please, don't send me back up there. He has a foot and a half. And the mother says, okay, honey, you sit down here and let the mother take care of this. Get it? He's got a foot and a half. Alright, well, screw you. I thought it was funny. Alright, well, most people would find this next one disgusting. And it's sexual. Man gets out of prison, right? Goes to the bar. He hasn't had sex in a long, long time. He's drinking, talking to the bartender, telling him he just got out. He hasn't had sex. The bartender, points over there, says, there's a woman up there. You just give her $10, $20 or whatever it was. This is an old joke, so make inflation put it on it, you know what I mean? Give her some cash, and so he goes up, puts the money on the table, and he says, hey, I've been out of, I haven't even touched a woman in like 10 years, and I'd like to really start out with eating your pussy. And of course, the woman is like, of course. So he starts eating her pussy. He's all, he's all into it, man. After a couple minutes, he's like, oh. He pulls out, he's choking, he pulls out this little piece of carrot. He's like, oh, wow, what the heck? But he's like, it's been 10, 20 years, whatever he's been in prison. He's like, man, I get it, So he goes back at it. Oh, he's on the pussy, he's eating it. All of a sudden, a couple minutes later, choking again. He pulls out this pea, like a pea. He's like, man, this is screwed up. But it's been decades since he's had sex. So he goes back at it, and he's thinking, if this happens again, I'll just quit, So he goes at it, and again, he starts choking. He pulls out this little piece of a potato. So finally, he's like, this is too much, man. He says, honey, are you sick or something? She says, no, the guy before you was. Yeah, I was sick. Okay, well, I guess that's all my jokes. Trying to give you something different, something to laugh about. Nobody thinks I'm funny though, because everyone has to be. No, God forbid someone laugh about themselves. I've made so many jokes about. Actually, 50% of my jokes I've made in my life are about me. Yeah, I mean, God forbid someone else laugh about something. It's a.